How's everyone doing? It's freezing cold. How's that global warming working out for everybody? Of course, if you don't know, everything's actually getting way colder. It's going to get a lot colder too. Everything they do is a lie. Anyway, how many people here know who I am? Oh. I haven't been here in like 7 years, I think. I was kind of expecting like no one would remember me or anything. I guess some of you guys still get bit shoot and stuff like that. So it's good to be back. And part of the thing I wanted to talk about is how I've changed since then, since I was last here, probably around 2017, 2018, something like that. I don't remember because I was pretty much blackout drunk the entire time. And that's a big part of what's changed. So I kind of realized that, well, back then, a lot of us, how many people have been here for came to PorcFest like 8 years ago, 10 years ago? Quite a few? Oh, just a few. Okay, it was a lot of people drinking, and it might be the same now, I don't know, I just got here. And talking about how bad the government is. And that was me, for sure. And back then, I thought the biggest problem was the governments, the central banks. Now I know it's much more than that. And it's, the Zionists and all this kind of stuff. But then it's even much more than that. And I'll get to that. But so I actually went on a bit of a journey, actually. I cut myself off from everything. I realized I really needed to stop doing what I was doing, which was being depressed and drinking and all that kind of stuff. And I basically went off. I did ayahuasca, I did iboga, I did hypnotherapy in the mountains in Canada for a while. I got into meditation. And over years and years this went on. Basically 5 to 10 years this went on. And I was meditating 1 to 2 hours a day, every day for years and years. And during that entire process, I kind of realized that the government and Zionists and all this sort of stuff was not my biggest problem. And it's not anyone else's biggest problem either. We all have the exact same problem that is actually the thing that is most damaging in our own lives. Anyone want to guess what it is? I heard someone say it. Ourselves. Our own selves, our own mind is our biggest problem in general. And it causes all of our problems. And that's what I really began to realize as I was doing this over years and years, is that we have so many programs, we have so many traumas. Everyone's got traumas. There's no one here who doesn't have traumas. Even birth itself is a trauma. Coming from essentially the spiritual realm into this material realm is highly traumatic. And if you don't do the work to deal with those traumas, you'll end up with a whole bunch of traumas and programs that you can't even see are actually happening. Because your subconscious mind basically makes it, and your conscious mind, which are two different things, and your mind isn't even you, by the way, is all trying to protect you by not letting you even see these programs and see these traumas. So I went on and I did years and years of self-work, basically. Some people call it shadow work, self-work, meditation, all that kind of stuff. And I'm still doing it to this day. And I highly recommend it for everyone. It is our biggest problem. If you're sitting there going, I think the government's the biggest problem in the world, no, go look in the mirror. Now, of course, the government sucks. Of course. And by the way, I just spoke at Freedom Fest like last week. I much prefer this kind of crowd. If you haven't been to Freedom Fest, it's like status freedom for the most part. This is much more my kind of crowd. And so the biggest problem that everyone's got is actually themselves. And any problem you have is actually caused by yourself. And you might not even understand what I'm saying there. Because you might go, well, Jeff, Ian Freeman's in jail here, which is heinous and horrible, as always. So many of my friends end up in jails or dead. John McAfee, Roger Ver right now, Rashid Buttar, who spoke at an Acapulco, was killed right after the event, after he exposed what's in the lethal injections, which I'm going to get into, by the way. There's a lot of information that most people don't know, that I actually just found out. What was I talking about? Oh, someone said it. What was it? Our fault. Yeah, okay. Let me get back to that. Yes, thank you. There's so much going on, and there's so many things to talk about, it's hard to keep it all lined up. But if you don't understand or realize that yourself is your own biggest problem pretty much always. And when I say yourself, I'm talking about your mind. And your mind is not actually yourself. So this is what I've realized over years of doing work and meditation, is that, first of all, your mind is not actually you. How many people here actually know that you're not your own mind? Put up your hand if you know that. Okay, about 20%. So for the other 80%, I can actually basically prove to you that you're not your mind. Especially if you can kind of just relax and get into a meditative state and begin watching your mind. That pretty much right there is proof. Well, who's watching it, right? And after years of meditation of hours per day, this is all very, very clear to me. It might not be clear to you. So just try that. Just try to do some, I actually highly recommend this. Everyone needs to do it. Every day, just take some time to yourself, go sit or lie somewhere, and basically just watch your mind. And if you're like, well, watch my mind, I am my mind. Well, try and you'll find out. And if you find it hard, that's actually your mind trying to stop you. Your mind doesn't want you to realize what you really are, because you're not your mind. You're also not your body. You're involved with them. Some people call it the Trinity or things like that. It's basically who you really are, mind and body. And it's all related, and the more that you can figure that out, the better. But when I say that your mind causes all your problems, I actually believe that your mind creates everything in this experience, which I call the matrix, which is not base level reality. And you hear a lot of people, and they've got all these problems, and they're like, oh, I'm so stressed out about this, so many problems, all this, all that. Here's my little 2.5-year-old. He wasn't here last time I spoke. And this is my wife, by the way, if you want to give him a hand. You can stay up. You can stay up here if you want. But when you think about your problems, right, like someone might be sitting there going, oh, the government's my biggest problem. And don't get me wrong, government, not good. In actuality, government is just mind control. That's the actual meaning of the word. I think Mark Passio's here, I heard, and he basically told me or taught me years ago what the actual meaning of the word government is, and it's from the Latin gubernare, to control, and meant mental mind. It's mind control, and it actually is. So for anyone who's kind of like, well, I've got all these problems, I can actually show you that it's all created by your mind, and actually everything's created by your mind. So how many people here actually feel like they've got like a problem right now? Like there's something wrong. Okay, the guy in the FBI hat, that's interesting. Anyone else sort of like, something's bothering, like I'm stressed out about something right now? Nobody? Everyone's pretty chill? All right, got a couple, okay. So here's something you can do. Everyone can do this, just do this with me. Just close your eyes. Take a really deep breath. Do it again, another really deep breath. Now in this moment right now, is there any problem? Anyone have any problems right now? No, you don't. Because for a couple seconds there, your mind wasn't talking. Your mind actually creates all these things. Oh, everyone stayed up? This is great. He actually has been on almost all my walk and talks. Well, not all, but for the first year and a half, he was sitting in front row in his stroller as I walked and talked. And he actually watches a bunch of them after I make them now. So he's seen like every episode of my walk and talks. But really the point I'm trying to get across here about like what is freedom? I thought freedom is you don't have to pay taxes. There's no one trying to tax you, first of all. There's no group with people with guns trying to regulate and enforce all kinds of arbitrary sort of things, stopping you from going here or there. And that's definitely a problem, and that's not cool. But by far, the biggest thing limiting your true freedom is actually yourself. And what I've learned over the last 10 years or so is how to actually get control over the mind and basically get to a state where it's not that involved in my life. A lot of people call this, well, you can call it kind of like enlightenment or a meditative state all the time, living presently. Eckhart Tolle has some great books on that, The Power of Now. It's a really short book. If you don't know what I'm talking about with this stuff, just get that book. It's really good. And I basically mostly live in that state now. And when you live in that state, where the mind isn't, worrying about this, because that's what the mind does. It's insane, actually. And it's just always, what if this happens? What if that happens? And in some ways, living in this material matrix, you need some of that stuff. Some of it's good. You see a car coming, your mind goes, you better not walk out there and get hit by it. That's good. But in general, your mind actually creates all of your problems. And you actually don't have any problems except for your mind. Like don't fall down, please. But almost every problem is created by your own mind. And then beyond that, and this is something I've learned as well, your mind basically creates your entire reality. That's actually your mind doing that. Now, when I say your mind, I'm not necessarily saying your brain. How people think of the mind is, it's this brain, and they have all these scientists, they'll study the brain waves and all that. To me, the mind is a receiver. It's receiving consciousness, and then it's projecting it into your senses. In many ways, life is actually just like a 3D video game with like a headset. You don't know you got the headset on, your eyes are the headset. And that's what I've actually learned over time, is that that's pretty much the nature of reality, which this isn't even real, by the way. It's because, like I said, this is like a 3D video game. It's being projected through. We feel like it's real, but it's actually not fully real. And then more so, as you watch your mind, you'll really get to the point of really contemplating, which is another word for meditation. Well, if I'm not my mind, what am I? And what you'll begin to realize is you're actually the creator of all of it. The creator. And when you realize that, there's never any reason to ever worry. This is an experience you're creating for yourself. And yes, there's lots of bad things in it. If this video game had nothing bad ever happen, no one would ever play it. It'd be like, would you ever play that? My friend got an Xbox game. What happens? Everyone's super happy 100% of the time. There's nothing to do. It's like, I'm not going to play that. It's just boring. Now you need all the drama. You need all the chaos and the craziness, the emotions, the highs, the lows, the hero's journey to actually get up and out of all the problems that you actually are creating for yourself. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Now let me talk about what's going on in the Matrix, because this is insane. So this is the Matrix. This is, in my opinion, this is created by this is inside the mind of God, which everything is. And inside of it, there's all these entities, and it's crazy. It's the craziest video game ever. There's multi-dimensional entities, all kinds of stuff. And a multi-dimensional type entity has basically created this matrix over this place that we call Earth with humans in it for a long time. And they've been they basically live off of the fear, the depression, the sadness, the hate. They're entities that are devoid of connection with true source. And they're actually only staying alive by feeding off of human suffering. And I don't know if you've noticed the world, but there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of that because a lot of people haven't woken up to realize that this material realm isn't fully real, and that they are actually the creator of it themselves. That said, in this matrix, so we're in this video game right now. It's the best. I'm going to give it 5 stars when I'm done. 5 stars. It's the best. You can fall in love. You can have sex. You can get drunk. I don't recommend that. Actually, the alcohol stuff I really learned will lower your vibration and make it so you can't connect. And most things in this material realm are like that, by the way. Porn, movies, distraction. There's some good movies, of course, Jones Plantation. But for the most part, that's there to distract you. Sports. I even watch sports. But I'm actually outside of it now, and I can just kind of enjoy being in the Matrix from time to time. I can have fun in the Matrix, but I know I'm not part of it. I think someone said that once. Be in this world, not of this world, or something like that. Didn't someone say that? Oh, was it? Yeah, the Jews killed him, right? Anyway. So in this matrix, though, this is insane. And I've got some information here that's new to me just in the last few days. I'm going to be putting out a video. I've got an interview with Dr. Anna Mihalcha coming out probably later this week with information that blew my mind that I didn't even realize is going on. So everyone's aware of things like the chemtrails, right? Everyone here knows about chemtrails, right? Pretty much. Put your hand up if you do. Yeah, everyone, right? 10 years ago, a lot of people thought that was crazy. Now it's very, very obvious, right? And that's also why it's getting cooler. They're blocking out the sun, which will actually reduce all the food production, which will cause massive famines, which they want because these entities live off of human suffering. And those chemtrails, though, well, where should I start, with the chemtrails or the lethal injections? Maybe I'll start with the lethal injections, because I haven't been here. Actually, everything to me now, I don't know about you guys, is pre-COVIDs and post-COVIDs. It's that whole AD and BC or whatever. I'm like, pre-COVIDs and post-COVIDs. Like, people will say something, I'll be like, was that pre-COVID? Okay, yeah. So that was a different world, right? Totally different world. It's amazing how that all changed everything. And of course, I'm sure most of you guys, I was at Freedom Fest. A lot of those people, not to put them down, but quite a few people there aren't really aware of most things going on. And so, when I say it's a kill shot trying to kill everyone on Earth, it's kind of surprising to some of those people, but most of you probably know that, right? Like, yeah, I'm talking to my kind of audience here. And at Anarchapulco, it's even more my kind of audience, just so you know. So, with the lethal injections, and I said this since day one, by the way, almost day one, I think the second day, after I heard the word COVID, I knew the entire plan. And the main reason, well, maybe not entire, actually I didn't, and I just found out a new part of it this week. But I knew most of the plan, because they'd already done it. They've done it numerous times. For example, the Spanish flu that they talk about that happened 100 years ago, it's not from Spain, and it wasn't the flu. What was it? Well, there's two highly likely sort of options. One is after World War I, which was a bankster war set up by all the same people who still control most of this matrix, for no reason whatsoever, to kill tens of millions of people in basically a satanic ritual. When they were done with their soldiers, they lethally injected them with vaccines 100 years ago, and that's what mostly caused the Spanish flu. There's some other evidence that it also was caused by new radio frequencies. So every time they increase from like radio to television frequency, from television to basic cell phone frequency, to the 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, you can see some evidence that people have some problems when that happens as well. That might have been involved, but it was not, definitely was not the flu. So they've been doing this for a long time. AIDS. Dr. Fauci was heavily involved in the HIV/AIDS scam, which is a complete scam. It's not what they say it is. It was very similar to the COVIDs in that they would get people to take these tests, ring a bell. There's actually a movie that I can't find anywhere anymore called House of Numbers about AIDS. And they showed it was basically a random number generator test. Very similar to those little white things, those little trinkets from China that people still use. I was actually on the plane here. There had to be 4 or 5 people on the plane with like the surgeon's masks on. And they weren't surgeons. Pretty sure they weren't. They actually looked pretty glazed over, actually, which I'll get into why. But what was I talking about? Oh, the COVID. So yeah, they did that with the AIDS as well. They do it with the COVIDs. People are still doing the tests and stuff, still getting the boosters. Okay, so here's where it gets crazy. So I knew that once I saw the whole plan, I knew Fauci was behind it. Well, not behind it. He's like a front man. They're all front man. Anyone that you know, any of these people, Trump, Biden, Clinton, Bush, all these people, Netanyahu, Milkowski, that's his real name, they're all basically like actors. None of these people are in control of anything. They've got masters. And the masters go up in levels until you get to this other dimensional entities. You can call them Elohim, I think. But anyway, so with the COVIDs, and they came out with the lethal injections, I knew what the plan was because they've done it so many times before. They did it with the Spanish flu. They did it with the AIDS. They keep trying to depopulate the earth. And they're getting better and better at it. But this is where it gets absolutely insane. This is something I just figured out this week. I knew that they were, trying to depopulate with the lethal injections, and that's obvious. The estimates are tens of millions of people are dead, which isn't that much. Like Bill Gates said in his TED Talk, when was that, 10 years ago, that they were going to reduce the population of the earth using vaccines. And all the people clapped and cheered. And he said he thinks if we do a really good job, he said, we can reduce the population of the earth by 10 to 15%. Well, they didn't do that. Well, first of all, we don't know the population of the earth. I don't believe any of those numbers. They say 7 to 8 billion. I think it's closer to 3 to 4, but still, let's say it's 8 billion. There's only been tens of millions, which isn't only right, but tens of millions of people have been killed by these injections. So that's nowhere near what they wanted to do. But I think I've actually figured out, and this is just this week, you guys are kind of the first people to hear this, what the actual agenda is. So I went and met with Dr. Anna Mihalcea. She's been really outspoken as a whistleblower. She's done incredible research. Look her up. She's written books on it, how they're trying to get nanotech into everybody. And she's shown, and I knew about this, I've known this for a while, since she talked about it, that there's nanotech in these lethal injection vaccines. But I was like, okay, well, I've never injected myself with lethal injections, so I don't have the nanotech. Well, I just went and saw her a few days ago in Yelm, Washington, And she's like, let me take a look at your blood. And I was like, yeah, it should be fine, because I've actually got this incredible technology, the Tesla machine, that's actually plasma is back. I only got like 5 minutes or something left. Like, I could talk for 4 hours about what's going on here. But let me briefly just say that I was aware that there was nanotech in the lethal injections. And you got people like RFK Jr. Didn't he come and speak here? Was he here? That's Snake. That's fucking Snake. I knew it. Oh, yeah. So what's he doing? I just saw him on X the other day. He's like, I'm with the CEO of Starbucks, and we're going to remove the food dyes from one of their drinks. Yeah, you're injecting everyone with massive amounts of nanotech. Massive. It's in all of them. Some of them are worse than others. One of the worst ones is actually that measles, mumps, rubella one. It is packed with nanotech. And what did he do? He got in and he said, I'm going to, expose all these people. We're going to have like all these vaccine people in jail and stuff. First of all, he created a national health emergency, anti-Semitism. That's what he said. How this guy can walk down the street without someone punching him in the face, I don't know. Like, and you know why his voice is that way? He actually got that from the flu lethal injection, which probably actually means he's probably being controlled by the nanotech. It's probably not even really him. Yeah. Oh, this gets way crazier. So I thought, I haven't injected myself with anything. I'm fine. I've been traveling the last 2 months. Just, I was in Europe, I was in Africa, I was in Canada, I've been here in the US. Man, I've seen such crazy chemtrails in Yelm, Washington, where I went to get my blood tested. And because I've got this incredible technology, which is incredible. If you don't know about this, write this down, tzla.club. Plasma is back. And you can get it now, and it's the most miraculous thing ever. It heals everything, it connects you with source. It actually will probably be one of the things that will make it so you can get through the rest of this apocalypse, because this is going to get crazy. So she tested my blood, and I'm just like, I've got the Tesla machine, I've never injected myself with poison. It should look great. And she's like, oh yeah, look, there's a microprocessor being built right there. And I was like looking at it, and you can see it. It's just like building in my blood. And I was like, how? She's like, it's in everything now. It's in absolutely everything. It's the chemtrails, it's the lethal injections, they're putting it in the food. She told me they were putting in things like Coca-Cola and Dasani decades ago, but it was like way less than what they have now. Now it's getting crazy. So I've only got like 2 minutes left. This is crazy. They're actually, the whole transhumanist agenda, Elon Musk, his dad was all into all this kind of stuff, but technocracy. They want to actually create everyone to not be human, so they're now transhuman because they're now part machine, part robot, which is what they want. That's what World Economic Forum talks about. That's what Yuval Harari talks about when he says humans are now hackable animals. Elon Musk's doing it, and everyone's like, he's a free speech guy. These people are as evil as they get. They might not even know it. They might be even being controlled by the same stuff that they're injecting us with. I'll bet every single person here has a bunch of nanotech in their body, and right now it's building operating systems. And we don't know exactly how they're going to use it. They've already started to use it in various ways. They plan to control our minds and bodies with the 5G, the Starlink, with the nanotech. So, and by the way, watch my video coming out later this week. You can actually get the nanotech out. I'll actually tell you right now, but really briefly. High dose vitamin C, like way more than 10,000 a day. Start small because it takes a while to get used to it. And EDTA, I think it's called. It's a chelation sort of a thing. If you use those things and a few other things, and actually the Tesla Club's going to have the full routine that Anna recommends, and if you have a Tesla machine, you can get the nanotech out and you can heal all the damage it does, because it damages everything in your body. It's taking all the oxygen from all your cells. That's why you're seeing all these heart attacks, strokes, blood clots. So, what do I got, like a minute left? Yeah? Okay. How do I wrap this up? 6 minutes, okay. Okay, just so you know, tomorrow I'm in the exit lounge at 4. so I can talk further about this. I think there's also a singles dating thing tonight at 8 o'clock at the Anarchapulco booth. I was told to tell you that. Okay, I got 5 minutes to possibly save your life. But here's the thing. We're all fine. Everything's fine. It's always perfect. This is a video game. But in this video game, I assume you came into the video game to win it. Who's ever played a video game and didn't try to win it? You have to be kind of crazy, right? It's like, I'm trying to lose. No. You came into the game. You made the game. It is frickin' insane. You've got these ultra-dimensional things turning us into transhumans right now. No one out there can see it. These people are, how many of us already said the fluoride stare, NPCs? These are barely even functioning humans anymore, if they ever were. There might be a lot of NPCs in this game. They're turning us all into robots, and they're going to be controlling us by the AI. That's what those $500 billion AI vaccine centers are for. Oh, to stop you from getting cancer. No, this is the big agenda. You can get it out, I just told you. Watch my videos, I'll be talking a lot more about this. So I basically just said something pretty crazy, right? Like this is like a multi-dimensional attempt to basically destroy humanity and turn them into robots and control them by the AI. It's all fact. It's all fact. So you might be thinking, well, that's pretty depressing. Well, it's a good thing at the very beginning of this talk, I tried to remind you who you really are. And everything's always perfect. It's always been perfect. It always will be perfect. There's nothing to ever worry about. But while we're in this Matrix video game, let's try to win it. And some of us are going to. Some people call this like the rapture and stuff like that. It's actually going to be like a reverse rapture. They're actually going to be taking all the bad guys out over the next few years. I don't have time to get into this. By bad guys, by the way, there could be some bad guys here. Bad guys are people who are not connected to Source. They've lost their connection to Source. They're trapped in the Matrix. They're trapped in their addictions, their jouissance, you could call them. Alcohol, sugar, caffeine, sex, drugs. They're trapped in it. You're probably not going to make it. You got to get connected. This will all be sorted over the next few years. We actually have a great speaker at Anarchapulco, Christoph Melchizedek, who talks all about this. He's actually doing a lot of the deconstruction work of their matrix system. So, at the end of the day, the real you, if you can stay connected to it, is always fine. There's never anything to worry about. But you might lose your connection to who you really are. That's what you got to get back. And that's what I love about PorcFest. So many people here living on the land, growing their own food, connected to Source in various ways, very mindful, very connected, a family, all that kind of stuff, all the beautiful, amazing things in life. Many of you guys are already doing it. But this is going to be a couple crazy years ahead. If you thought NPCs were bad before, just wait till they're controlling them by the 5G and the Starlink. And actually the AI is individually controlling every single one and creating all kinds of whatever they want with them. This is going to get insane. Like the Terminator, basically with everything going on, it's kind of like a mix between 1984 and the Terminator. And like the worst part of both and things that you couldn't even imagine back then. It's incredible. So, but there's nothing to worry about. Do the work. What can you do? What can you personally do? There's only one thing anyone can ever do. Work on themselves. When you work on yourselves, you can actually change your reality. And if you change your reality, you can actually change this world because it actually doesn't exist. I'll leave it there. I think I'm done. Thank you very much.